Ayurveda Part 9, movement and exercise. So today I'll focus on what are the best movement and exercise practices for your dosha, and I'll answer a few of these questions. So what can movement and exercise do for you? And how can you practice mindful movement? And what types of exercise are best for your dosha? And then you'll learn a series of yoga poses to balance each dosha and to open that dosha's most predominant chakras to create more happiness and well-being in your life. And then last, I'll also share a link so you can take a quiz to discover what your dosha is if you haven't taken that yet. So stay until the end so you get the link for the quiz. For now, listen to the information and see what resonates with you. See what poses or exercises or activities resonate with you. And then take the quiz after and then see if you were right, if that's what you needed for your particular dosha. So really knowing your dosha allows you to begin customizing your lifestyle choices right away. So let's get moving with movement. So the good news is that you can find the right type of physical activities to balance your dosha. So your body was made to move. Regular exercise is essential for your physical health and your psychological well-being as well. So we are seeing a growing epidemic of obesity in the West that is now affecting our children. So humans are more sedentary now than at any other time in recorded history. So as a result, we suffer increased risks for heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, osteoporosis, cancer, and other diseases. So regular exercise is one of the most powerful ways to grow younger and live longer, says Deepak Chopra. So what can movement do for you? First of all, it prevents disease. So regular physical activity prevents chronic illness like heart disease, diabetes, cancer, hypertension, obesity, depression, and osteoporosis. Exercise boosts creativity. So exercise helps with both divergent and convergent thinking, meaning you'll be better able to explore more possible options and find best solutions, meaning your perspective sort of opens. If you ever notice, you can get kind of stuck and obstinate if you're not moving your body. When you start moving your body, it opens to different perspectives and different ideas and ways of solving things in your life. So exercise can also balance emotions. So increased physical activity has been linked to reduce anxiety and depression, and the physical effects can also boost self-esteem. And it also stimulates the mind. So Harvard health researchers have found that regular aerobic exercise can boost the size of the hippocampus. And the hippocampus is the area of the brain that's involved in verbal memory and learning. So great incentive there. So let's talk about mindful movement. An important part of a healthy daily routine is mindful movement, which is exercise where we are present and aware of the sensations and movements of our bodies. So building awareness around what's going on with our body during movement. So a complete practice of mindful movement includes these three elements: cardiovascular or aerobic activity. It detoxifies the body, strengthens the heart, boosts the mood, and increases stamina. Strength training builds muscle mass and protects bone and bone health. Flexibility training is beneficial for joint mobility and calming the nervous system and integrating the mind-body system. Life doesn't exist without movement of our bodies, of our breath, through our circulation and from cell to cell. So according to Ayurveda, movement is life. So mindful movement matters. Mindful movement is when you pay attention to the physical and emotional sensations in your body. So how can you practice mindful movement? So start by feeling into your body. So bring awareness to your physical form and ask these questions. How does my body feel? Do I have pain or discomfort while doing this activity? And am I low on energy, or do I have enough energy to do this activity? So just start with those questions, and it starts the awareness process of your body. All right, beauties. And then another thing you can do is be aware of all your senses. So staying present and recognizing your body and environment with your senses can really bring mindful awareness to your exercise. So here are a few questions that you can ask yourself for each sense to bring awareness to each sense. So let's start with sound. So are you picking up distracting sounds from your environment that's keeping you from focusing on your activity? Or is your choice of music energizing or calming? So becoming aware of what you're hearing. And touch. What's the temperature? Are you comfortable? Are you experiencing any discomfort in the legs or abdomen, arms, or neck that might cause injury? Or are you using the correct posture while doing that activity? So things you want to keep in mind. That's touch, sight. How's the lighting? Do you have all the water, the towels, tools that you need to complete your activity? And is your environment distracting or soothing? Are there distracting things that are around you that you can see? Taste. Have you prepared for your activity with the 6 tastes? And that goes back to Ayurveda part 4 in this series, Nutrition and the 6 Tastes. So you can go back and watch that video if you like. Or do you have the energy needed to complete your exercise? And then smell. Are there any distracting smells or irritant that might hinder you from performance? Maybe toxic smog or something like that. Just keep awareness going around the senses. So those are a few questions that you can ask yourself to bring awareness about what you're experiencing and what your body's experiencing during your activity. So really by bringing awareness to your exercise, you'll begin to find routines that fuel your mind and your body. And then you'll weed out routines that don't work for you. So if you don't enjoy running on the treadmill, you're not going to stick with it, right? So if you don't like something, it's going to be hard to continue on with it. So the best exercise is the exercise that works for you and pleases all of your senses. So just take a moment now and ask yourself, what exercises do you love to do? What exercises are your favorite? Just think about it for a second. Personally, I love dancing and walking in nature. Those are my favorite forms of exercise. So just ask yourself right now, what do you love to do? And cultivate those exercises, things that you can practice, all day long that you would just love doing all the time and that please all your senses. And have fun with that. So let's talk about the doshas in action. What's your dosha? Have you discovered your dosha yet? If not, I'll share a link at the end of today's class so you can discover yours. But for now, again, just listen and feel into if any of these activities resonate with you. So knowing your dosha really gives you a head start on finding the right exercise routine. And intense workout programs promising to lose weight and build muscle fast aren't right for everybody. So when you find exercises best suited for your dosha and make them a regular part of your routine, you'll really enjoy the experience and you'll keep going with it and you'll stay balanced in your life from continued practice. So exercise doesn't need to be a chore. So when you choose a form of mindful exercise, it's important to consider your primary dosha as well as any dosha imbalances that you're currently experiencing. So if you are feeling sluggish and you feel like overweight, or you're feeling slow or lethargic, you may have a kapha imbalance, and kapha may not be your primary dosha. Usually when people feel slow and sluggish and overweight, they are feeling that kapha imbalance. So just keep in mind that your primary dosha might be different than your dosha that is out of balance. And if you're wanting to exercise and get into better health, you may have a kapha imbalance that doesn't, again, reflect your primary dosha. Just something to keep in mind. So let's talk about how to balance each dosha, starting with vata. So what balances vata? So vata balancing activities provide strength and balance. And so what exercises are balancing for vata? So relaxing and rhythmic activity that is fluid, calming, and is a calming movement like rowing or yoga, rollerblading, roller skating, dancing, tai chi, qigong. Even walking or swimming at moderate pace can help vata dosha. And strength training is great for vata dosha. So weight training can help to build strength and muscle to a slender vata frame. If you have had a really thin frame your whole life, think about weight training. Also outdoor activities, so warm weather activities like golfing, canoeing, walks or light hiking or light cycling can help to ground vata dosha. And then warm environments. So cold weather can really throw vata out of balance. So favor indoor activities in the winter, and then consider hot yoga also in the winter. So a few more tips for balancing vata through activity. So when vatas feel unbalanced, it can create uncertainty and anxiety. And vatas don't want to overexert themselves ever, because they can get exhausted and have adrenal fatigue. So vata imbalance results from too much movement, activity, and travel. And these are times to focus more on balancing vata dosha. So looking at nature balances vata because it brings in the earth and water elements, as well as the activities that I just shared with you. So those are some tips on exercises and activities that you can use to balance vata dosha. So let's talk about pitta. What balances pitta? So pitta balancing activities provide relief from tension. And what exercises are balancing for pitta dosha? So getting wet. So cooling, calming activities like swimming, kayaking, surfing, and paddleboarding are all a natural fit for pitta dosha. And playing more versus competing. So you want to enjoy the activity and compete less. Pitta dosha people have a strong tendency for competition. So just allow the playful energy to come through a little bit more, and release the need to compete, and practice sports just for the fun of it, just for fun. Outdoor activities are great for pitta dosha. So in the winter, you can try skiing or snowboarding or ice skating. So cooling environments are very pitta balancing. And then nature just in general provides balance for pitta dosha. And then beating the heat. So avoid overexerting yourself in the hot summer sun. That's a surefire way to create an imbalance for pitta dosha. So choose cooler times of the day to exercise and stay close to the water. And then focus on recovery. So don't skip the warm-up or cool down part of your workout routine. Try restorative yoga class at least once or twice a week to improve flexibility. All right, beauties. So a few additional tips. So pittas are very goal-oriented and they push themselves very hard. So they often get out of balance when they are overdoing activities. And because pittas like more active exercise, they may think that they're wasting their time with more relaxing exercises like restorative yoga or Tai Chi. They don't see the point of doing nothing. So they feel like they want to always have that, burn, no pain, no gain sort of attitude. And so try a medium paced exercise that can please the desire to move your body, but not where you overdo it or get bored. And then you can keep your pitta dosha in balance. So it's kind of an in between. Don't overdo and don't do something that is just too boring, but somewhere in between to keep pitta in balance. All right, so that's a few tips for pitta dosha. Now let's talk about kapha. What balances kapha? So kapha balancing activities create lightness and heat up the body. So what motivates kapha to move? Having fun, first and foremost. Motivation to get moving is especially difficult for kapha types. So choose something fun and exciting to get kapha motivating, like Zumba or spinning or rock climbing or mountain biking. Those will all be motivational for kapha dosha and bring in the fun. And then you want to break a sweat daily for kapha dosha. So routine comes really natural for kaphas, but getting at least 20 minutes of high intensity exercise every day will keep you on track if you are kapha dosha or if you have a kapha imbalance. And then stacking up the weight. So kapha types are naturally strong, and weight training is highly effective in shedding those few extra pounds. And then bring in the heat. So get the body moving with brisk walking, jogging, or fast moving yoga flow classes. And these exercises create heat and get your blood pumping. So really good for kaphas, not so great for pitta. Just keep that in mind for all you pitta dosha people, that Bikram might not be your yoga. You might want to do more restorative yoga, but for kapha, hot yoga is for you. All right, beauties. So competition, a little bit of healthy, friendly competition can keep kapha types motivated, and it lights a fire under that water and earth element that can keep kaphas feeling sort of slow and stagnant. So a little healthy competition for kaphas, not for pitta though. So a few tips for kapha. You need to just get moving. The more you move, the better that you're going to feel and the more momentum you'll have. Kaphas love restorative yoga, but doing a more active style of yoga will be beneficial for kapha. And walking is beneficial, so make time for longer walks. And really, regardless of your primary dosha, again, if you are experiencing a little heaviness, a little stagnation, fluid retention, heavy qualities in the body, then just increase movement for greater balance. And because these are signs of a kapha imbalance. So you may want to practice kapha balancing activities until you feel a balance in your body, and then start catering your activity to your primary dosha. All right, beauties. So let's talk about yoga and Ayurveda. So yoga is the ultimate form of movement. So how can you customize a yoga practice for your dosha type? So yoga is Ayurveda's sister science. And yoga and Ayurveda have been taught hand in hand for about 5,000 years. And you're probably already at least somewhat familiar with yoga. It's become a popular form of exercise, and its benefits have been widely accepted by health professionals worldwide, thankfully. So both Ayurveda and yoga originated from the same body of Vedic knowledge, which again stems back to ancient India about 5,000 years. So throughout time, they've developed together and influenced each other. And they both share the ultimate aim of helping people experience their inner self, or true nature, which is pure bliss, wholeness, and infinite potential. We want to wake up and remember that that is our truth. So the most familiar form of yoga is Hatha Yoga, and Hatha Yoga focuses on mastering the body through postures or poses known as asanas. So a relaxing form of Hatha Yoga is restorative yoga, and also can be considered Swarupa Yoga or Yin Yoga, are forms of restorative yoga, which uses props like pillows and blankets to support the body in seated and reclining postures. And this allows you to relax completely into the props and into the pose so you can focus on your breath and stress release. It's very, very beneficial style of yoga. So for the purpose of this lesson, we're going to focus mainly on hatha and restorative practices, but all forms of yoga can be dosha balancing and can contribute to whole health. All right, so just keep that in mind. So what can yoga do for you? Let's just chat a little bit about the benefits of yoga. So yoga brings all three forms of exercise into one practice. So with yoga, you're practicing flexibility, cardio, and strength training all at the same time. So it's the ultimate form of exercise and activity. So you'll feel better, first of all. So yoga really counters stress and lowers blood pressure. It reduces anxiety and depression, and it improves your mood through the regulation of neurotransmitters. Also, you'll get to know yourself better. So through yoga, you cultivate centered awareness and strengthen the communication between the body and the mind. So many wonderful benefits. Additionally, yoga increases strength and energy. So yoga increases energy levels, flexibility, and balance for both the body and the mind. So you'll also strengthen both large muscle groups and the small muscles that other exercises don't address. You'll experience better digestion. So this is a big part of Ayurveda, is strengthening the Agni or the digestive fire. So yoga can help with that. Yoga activates the parasympathetic nervous system that regulates your digestive system. So parasympathetic nervous system puts you in a state of rest and digest. And so in other words, yoga helps your digestion. And let's talk about yoga for the doshas. So let's go into specifics about what yoga poses are best for your dosha. So I shared earlier which exercises and activities are balancing for each dosha, activities and exercise. And now I'll share a series of yoga poses to balance each dosha and to open that dosha's most predominant chakras. So all the doshas experience benefits from opening all the chakras, but there are specific chakras that when they're open, they will balance each dosha more predominantly. So the elements associated with the chakras can be used to balance your dosha. So we're going into the Mahabhutas, which are the 5 great elements, and which Mahabhutas are associated with the chakras and how that can balance your dosha. So for example, the root chakra is a grounding chakra. So opening the root chakra balances the airy aspects of vata. You see? So let's start with vata. So starting with yoga for balancing vata dosha, grounding movements balance the airy vata. So vata types are inherently mobile, they're quick, changeable, and light. So very air, very space. And these people tend to have natural flexibility and enjoy moving the body, but they may also have a tendency to overexert and become anxious or fatigued. So to bring balance to the light and quick vata types, choose slow, calming, and grounding poses. So you can balance the space and air of vata with root, sacral, and solar plexus opening asanas. So that's first, second, and third chakra, root, sacral, and solar plexus opening asanas. So a few poses to open the first chakra, and bear with me on Sanskrit pronunciations. To open the first chakra, Padmasana, which is lotus flexion, Tadasana, which is mountain pose, Janu Shirshasana, which is head to knee pose, and Malasana, which is squatting pose. So here I'm going to make that bigger. So you can screenshot that. Those are a few poses that open the first chakra. To open the second chakra, focus on knee to chest pose, seated pelvic circles, Baddha Konasana, which is butterfly with a forward fold. Baddha Konasana is also cobbler's pose. Bhujana Ganasana, which is cobra pose. So those are the poses to focus on to open your second chakra. We're still balancing Vata dosha, first, second, third chakra. The third chakra, focus on Navasana, boat pose, Matsyendrasana, seated spinal twist, Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolved triangle pose, Dhanu Adasana, which is bow pose. All right, beauties. So that's how to balance Vata dosha by opening the first, second, and third chakra through Hatha Yoga restorative poses. So let's focus on Pitta dosha. So yoga for Pitta. So to bring balance to hot Pitta types, focus on cooling poses and relaxing movements. You want to reduce the heat for Pitta dosha. So Pitta types benefit from scheduling a time to practice yoga at dawn or dusk. You want to do it during times where it is cooling during the day, not at noon. The cooler the time of the day, the better for Pitta dosha. So start with a calm and relaxed attitude and let go of the tendency to go for the perfect pose. Resist the temptation to have your phone in the same room with you or think about work to-do lists. I'm half Pitta dosha, so I'm going to tease Pitta dosha a little bit because I understand. So balance the fiery Pitta dosha by opening the root, sacral, heart, and throat chakras. First, second, fourth, and fifth chakra. So again, first chakra, Padmasana, lotus flexion, Tadasana, mountain pose, Janu Shirshasana, head to knee pose, and Malasana, squatted pose. Second chakra, Pava Namuktasana, knee to chest pose, seated pelvic circles, Baddha Konasana, butterfly with forward fold, which is also cobbler's pose, and Bhujanganasana, cobra pose. And then fourth chakra, to open the heart, focus on Ustrasana, which is camel pose, Nata Rajanasana, which is dancer's pose, and cow face pose. And then to open the fifth chakra, which is the throat chakra, Ustrasana, bridge pose, Salama Savangasana, which is shoulder stand, and Halasana, which is the plow. So take a screenshot of those. You can practice those. Those are the three chakras and a few poses for each to balance Pitta dosha. Let's talk about kapha. So yoga for kapha includes rapid movements, and that really helps stabilize kapha dosha. So the kapha dosha is naturally slow. Think earth and water. It's heavy, slow to change, steady, solid. So people with a predominance of kapha dosha are blessed with physical strength. They have great muscle mass and natural stamina. However, they find it hard to get motivated to exercise or move their body. So balance kapha by introducing poses that open the solar plexus, heart, and throat chakras. So chakra, solar plexus, again, focus on Navasana, Matsyendrasana, seated spinal twist, Parivrtta Trikonasana, which is triangle pose, and Dhanurasana, which is bow pose. And then fourth chakra, which is the heart chakra, Ustrasana, which is camel pose, Natarajasana, dancer's pose, Gomukhasana, cow face pose, and those are the three to focus on for opening the heart chakra. And then throat chakra, fifth chakra, Ustrasana, camel pose, Setubandha Savangasana, bridge pose, and Salama Samvangasana, shoulder stand, and Halasana. So those are the chakras to open, to balance your dosha, and a few hatha-based restorative poses to open those chakras. All right, beauties, let me know if you have any questions about that. I would love to communicate with you today. All right, lovely ones. So I highly recommend continuing a daily movement and exercise practice that's fun and motivating for you. The best exercise is the exercise that works for you and pleases all of your senses. So again, exercise doesn't need to be a chore. So when you find exercises best suited for your dosha and make them a regular part of your routine, you'll enjoy the experience and you'll stick with it, and you'll stay balanced in your life with a regular exercise routine. So now we're going to shift gears to focus on a dosha quiz. And that determines your mind-body characteristics and the essential nature that you were born with. And again, Ayurveda has an individual and catered approach of lifestyle medicine for each person by taking into consideration what your body-mind constitution is or what your dosha is. So when you're answering the questions, think in terms of which statements have been true for you for most of your life. So if you developed an illness in childhood or as an adult, think how things were for you before that illness, specifically with mental and behavioral traits. Since they tend to be more subjective, you should answer according to how you have felt and acted most of your life. So knowing your dosha allows you to personalize your healthy lifestyle choices through the 6 pillars of health, which are the pillars that Ayurveda focuses mostly on. And those are nutrition, movement, sleep, meditation, healthy emotions, and self-care. And these are the topics I covered in the 9-part Ayurveda series. So again, check out the YouTube playlist to watch them all, or again, see them in the description of the video on YouTube. So you can take the quiz, find out what your dosha is, and then really enjoy that 9-part Ayurveda series and really start incorporating whatever resonates with you the most. So beneficial for your health and your well-being. So really enjoy that and really use the tools there because it can really add beautiful things to your life. So thank yourself for giving yourself the gift of Ayurveda. And I thank you for joining me today, beauties. Thank you so much, and namaste.